Pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
What has transpired in this group, and the United States able to score 3 against Vietnam in their very first game, and they should have scored 5 or 6 because Netherlands scored 7 on Vietnam yesterday. The Portugal game where Carly Lloyd, a U.S. legend, commentary, just said that the player of the match was the post. Portugal hit the post in the 91st minute.
Did they really? Oh,
and
boy.
that would have sent the United States home. And this would have been...
People would have lost their freaking
this is
minds.
a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like, even when your team is in transition, you get to the knockout stages in the World Cup.
Well, when you're that team, right?
You're
Not
the
when you're the
United
men's
States.
team, right? You're the United States women's team. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we need to draw a significant difference on the world stage between where the men's team
Women
and the
are
women's
expected to be in the final, to win the World Cup every time they step on the pitch.
Women's World Cup is a relatively new phenomenon, like about 30 years. And the United States women have been at the forefront of that, have been dominant in that, have been ahead of everybody else for the entirety of the existence of the Women's World Cup. Am I wrong? I mean,
Well, they've been the most dominant team lately.
certainly over the last 2 decades, they've been heads and shoulders above everybody else, and that's why there was such a big expectation going in. And they can still hit it now. They've gotten through. They are through. And who they playing? We must know? Do we know who?
But
who's coming out of the other?
It's different, man. You have former players questioning the coach, calling out the players. Like, why are you celebrating after a scoreless draw that way? Like, you can be respectful, but there's nothing to be dancing about
Because they
right
advanced. I mean,
Like
because they're not going home.
I know it is. This is the highest stage, like what you expect when you play with that level of expectation, and it's going to be interesting to watch this team now deal with the pressure of, all right, you got there, but people feel it's not even good enough the way you got there, and sometimes you need a break.
Because
And maybe
you barely got there.
Maybe that break, Portugal hitting the post in the 91st minute, and it lights a new fire under this team.
The United States is the runner-up in the group because Netherlands beat Vietnam 7-0 yesterday, so it was a goal differential thing. The Netherlands comes out at +8, United States at +3, and they get through with the 5 points. I guess the sprinklers went off in the middle of this thing. A malfunctioning sprinkler caused a fire alarm to go off in the stadium, but they continue to play the game. So runner-up second place in the group. They'll have the opportunity for unprecedented 3rd straight World Cup. We're open for business today at 505-246-0610. That's how you can get to us. 505-246-0610 is the Sports Animal phone line and text line. Welcome you there today. Guest list today, how Mummy the former New Mexico State football coach, the former many places football coach, is going to be with us at 7:30. Catch up with Hal. Just pick his brain on football. I haven't talked to him since. What I really want to talk to him I haven't talked to him since Mike Leach passed, and just give him, talk to him a little bit about Mike Leach, and what Mike meant. Mountain West Conference. What did we decide today? Did we decide yesterday?
Depends on if we have Wi-Fi or not.
Oh, all right. We might not have anything for you today. All right, stand by on that because we haven't transferred everything over. I get it. I get it. All right, so we may have some of that for you. All right, lots going on in the National Football League because camps are open, and this is a big one, I think, for your club. So you're down 2 receivers than you had yesterday morning, right? You guys cut Hamler and then Tim Patrick, who missed all of last season with a torn right ACL, suffers a torn left Achilles at practice yesterday. He's carted off the field. MRI confirmed it was an Achilles. And I got to believe he's done. KJ Hamler he announced on Instagram that he'd been diagnosed with a mild heart irritation, and he's released. And all of a sudden, that deep receiving core isn't as deep anymore, is it, for Russell Wilson?
Not at all. And there was even questions with, all right, you have a bunch of dudes, but are they any good? And I think getting Tim Patrick back was huge because he's a constant. I think it's Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, those are good
combo.
Too.
But a lot of it, too, is just going to be style of play with what do they do offensively? Are they going to lean on really the run game and a lot of just the play action looks to try to open things up? Because now they're looking at wide receiver 3, it's wide open. They took a Marvin Mims in the second round, a kid out of Oklahoma. They have Kendall Hinton, Marquez Callaway. So now it's a shakeup in the wide receiver core.
That doesn't help a quarterback who has almost as many questions as dollars. Almost, not quite, not nearly quite. But it opens up opportunities. A guy like Callaway, I think. Marvin Mims Jr. out of Oklahoma was their second round pick. When you take a guy in the second round and look, he's not a big guy. He's 5'11". He's a guy that they're hoping can get down the field. If you're looking for a sleeper in your draft, maybe he's your guy.
He's had the hamstring issue. He
Okay.
was back in practice yesterday, but yeah, he's going to have to step up.
And you got to run the football. What's the health status on Javonte Williams?
He's in camp right now, and he's running with the ones. He's still listed as questionable, but it appears that he's back.
Okay, because I thought he was terrific when he was healthy last year.
Definitely.
And he goes down, and Samaje Perine's your guy. I like Samaje Perine in a backup role. All of a sudden, I don't know, are they just a quarterback away?
No.
I think it was a horrible day for the Broncos yesterday.
Terrible.
I don't know how else you look at it.
I was looking at my phone, and it was like within an hour, bad news, then really bad news. It was.
Hamler was the bad news, then Patrick was the really bad news? Was that the way it was?
Well, they're both really bad. Let's be honest. The heart scare is not good.
No.
But I think Broncos fans probably had more hopes for
Patrick.
For Patrick, yeah.
No doubt. Well, I don't even think there's an argument, is there? You signed him, you gave him a
Hamler
lot of
was
money.
a second rounder. I think everyone hopes that he would be play at that level, but in reality, yeah, it's Tim Patrick.
Yeah. All right, Bronco fan, you're down. You're down to 2 receivers, and I think it's a pretty big deal. I want to hear from you at 505-246-0610. When we come back, Cowboy fans, you're down a running back. Well, for a little while anyway. Not that running back, but you're down a running back for a little while. Does that open the door for a little wider for a return of Ezekiel Elliott? We'll talk about that next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's time for kickoff, and the Believe podcast will get you.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. or the ones who go before all others?
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
This season, he violated the NFL's PED, performance-enhancing drugs policy. He'll be eligible to return in Week 3. Good morning to you. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and DC. So, look, this is a running back room that made significant changes in the offseason, right? They're without Ezekiel Elliott. They're without Ronald Jones. They seem to really like Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn, and Ezekiel Elliott is sitting out there. Significant or not, does this move the needle in maybe getting Zeke back in the building?
Not quite yet, given the fact that it was only a 2-game suspension.
Okay.
Your 4 to 6 range, probably thinking differently about that chunk of the season, but I don't think they make a move on a running back named Zeke Elliott right now.
So Mike McCarthy seems to love Malik Davis. He said he's taken that jump that you're looking for. He also loves. He says, I tell you, I'm loving Rico. So all right, they can go with what they got. Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn. Do you know Rico Dowdle? 4th year out of South Carolina. Do you know him at all? 7 regular season carries in his career?
Nope.
Nor do I. But, I mean, look, every coach loves every guy in camp this time of year, right? They all look great against whoever it is they're running against. Every coach loves that. I don't know. To me, that puts you in a little bit of a bind. How valuable is Zeke on the market? New England seems to want him. Are people waiting to see what Dalvin Cook is going to do before they move on Zeke? We had this conversation yesterday. I love him in Cincinnati. I don't know that Cincinnati's sniffing around him, but there's places where he could make a difference. Don't you think?
It's just a waiting game in terms of what contract Zeke is willing to accept. How low can you go to get Ezekiel Elliott in for a year?
No, it's going to be low.
It is going to be low. Who do you think is number 2 is in terms of running backs and signing contracts this offseason? We know Barkley got $10 million. Who was the second most, do you think?
Who got paid the most?
Yeah.
In new contracts?
Running backs.
I'm trying to think of who even signed.
Is it Melvin Gordon?
No, it's not. It's Miles Sanders, and he got $6.2 million. So
I was going to piss you off, wasn't it?
Yeah, if it was Melvin Gordon, that'd be a bad deal. That'd be bad for all running backs.
6.2 for Miles Sanders.
That's right. David Montgomery got $6 million. Jamal Williams $4 million. Samaje Perine $3.75.
Jamal Williams, really?
Yep.
Where did he sign?
Well,
he scored a lot of
Saints,
touchdowns
right?
in Green Bay last year. Is he the Saints?
New Orleans. Yep.
So he's their number 2 back in New Orleans. So they paid their number 2 back $6 million, $4 million. You said
4. Yep.
All right.
So
they see the value.
Seeing that range, you got to assume one of these high end guys is getting in between 4 and 6, right?
How many high end guys are left? There's one, right?
I mean, Cook.
Zeke is not that. He's what's left. It's Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. There's a few guys out there. Mark Ingram.
Kareem Hunt's out there. What's Kareem Hunt worth? If you're going to tell me Cook's worth 6, Mark Ingram? Come on.
He's not worth 6, but he's serviceable.
He's serviceable. Now, serviceable as a defensive tackle is worth 6.
So that puts him at what, $2 million or so?
Yeah.
$1.5 million, $2 million?
Yeah, I think right in there. Right in there. And then we're going to start seeing how valuable running backs are, right? Colts are down 2 as of they woke up Friday morning, they had a pretty good running back room. They had Jonathan Taylor and they had Zach Moss.
That's a really good room.
It was a good room 5 days ago. Then their owner kind of popped off about him. Then their number 1 guy said, you know what, bleep, you trade me. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, it doesn't hurt. And then Zach Moss went out and broke his arm. So he's out for a while. And now their running back room is what? Right? So one of those guys is going there, aren't they? Whether it's a Mark Ingram, who else did you tell me? is on the market?
Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette.
Kareem Hunt's going to drop somewhere. I didn't realize Leonard Fournette was still on the market.
Yeah, Fournette's an interesting one for the Colts too because they could definitely afford him.
If they're not going to pay Jonathan Taylor all year,
right? That's such a bizarre situation.
I mean, seriously, they've got a guy named Deion Jackson, a third-year guy out of Duke, and Evan Hull. You guys shaking your heads like you know these guys?
Evan Hull, of course.
5th-round pick out of Northwestern, rookie.
Northwestern, that's right.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
That's their running back room right now. Because and Zach Moss will be back. If you say 6 weeks, it's what, week 2 now? Ish?
Essentially, yeah.
All right, you good with him as your starting running back, as your main guy? They've got to get somebody, right?
Yeah, not if I'm trying to win a Super Bowl.
But if I'm Dalvin Cook, if I'm Ezekiel Elliott, I'm like, yeah, no, that's good. That's a hot, steamy pile of poo. Why am I going there? No, honestly. I mean, give me a better definition of what the Colts are if you're a running back. You got one? I'm listening.
You might be interested in
the problem
with
the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
is they have a star running back, and the owner just told them to bleep off.
All right. So, and they've got a rookie quarterback who I think everybody thinks is a project. And they've got an owner who...
It'll be a lot of fun to watch him execute an offense with Jonathan Taylor.
I'll tell you what.
But here we are.
And Gardner Minshew still listed as their number 1. And a rookie head coach. I mean, I don't know. How'd they go to the biggest pile? Who's the biggest hot mess in the league right now? It's not Houston.
The Colts might be it.
They are it.
Losing defensive players to gambling earlier, now this. Colts might be it.
I mean, give me another one. I don't even know who contends. The Raiders? Not really.
There's bad, but there's not. They're messy.
Right. The Cardinals are bad, but they're not this. Right? You don't have the owner calling out their star player and their star player saying, bleep you, I want out, and we're not trading you, and then they're not this.
Yeah, it might be the Colts.
They're the biggest mess in the league right now. And they weren't. 2 years ago was that bleep showdown with Urban Meyer, right? Last year, I don't even know what it was. Might have been them. But yeah. And so which running back's going to go there? It's going to be a Mark Ingram. Who Leonard Fournette, maybe? It's going to be a guy who's going to get down to it and go, well, I need a place to play and I want a paycheck, and they're going to give me $2.5 million. And $2.5 million, whilst maybe not rich for an NFL contract, is pretty good for the real world, and it's $2.5 million that I can live on for a while.
Marlon Mack is out there. He used to play for the Colts. I could potentially see him coming back if they are just trying to fill a gap.
Well, they are trying to fill gaps. They are. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you think of Indianapolis?
I was excited to watch that offense before they decided that Jonathan Taylor wasn't going to be part of it.
Okay.
Which
totally fair.
Doesn't make any sense to me when you have a rookie quarterback since you're under control for the next 5 years. You know what the price is going to be. You know how that affects the cap. And you're not willing to figure out a fair value for a 24-year-old running back who, yeah, he missed some time. But just tell me the last running back that actually got MVP votes in this league. That was that good. That's who Jonathan Taylor is. And your owner wants to alienate him from the organization.
Yep. I mean, he did, his share in alienating as well. But this is on Jim Irsay. He's pretty vocal about it, and I guess let them be vocal. They can be vocal. Evidently, they spent an hour in his trailer on Saturday, right? And I'm sure, and they came out, and that's what he wanted out. I'm sure he said, "Pay me a lot," and I'm sure Irsay said, "Look, man, here's what the market is." I'm sure he told him why the market is what it is. Like nobody heard what they wanted to hear.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to completely absolve Jonathan Taylor of any wrongdoing in this. Or
He didn't do anything wrong.
I don't know.
Fair market contract, probably top 3 paid running back in the NFL, and teams were like, "Yeah, we don't do that anymore."
Yeah,
like, okay.
and if that's what he wanted, that's fine.
I'm sure
top 3.
You start wherever.
Guys want to reset the market.
$16 million, $17 million, $18 million a year.
Yeah, every new guy, the latest guy wants the most. They want to reset the market, right?
And then, all right, it's how I think the Irsay stuff though. He got he was upset even
he's out
before
of
that
his mind,
meeting
dude.
with the it's inappropriate to have a conversation about contracts. No, it's not. That's their job too as players in the player union to discuss their future, and then you talk about it instead of getting upset. However, everyone decided to get upset,
and everybody is upset. And now dude's not going to work. All right, when we come back, we're going to catch up with an old friend. Hal Mumme is going to be with us, the former New Mexico State coach, former Kentucky coach. He's been in a lot of the pro leagues. He's one of the fathers of the air raid. I want to talk to him a little bit about the passing of Mike Leach and what he's been doing. We were going to do this last week as part of the 15th celebration, but a guy that has an insane resume in college football over the years and pro football, and he's going to join us when we return. Looking forward to catching up with Hal Mumme on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's a mellow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
15 years of doing this here radio show and this time slot on this radio station. Caught up with a number of friends from the past, a lot of people who had been a part of the show. And back when we started this show, every Tuesday morning, Hal Mumme, then the head coach at New Mexico State, would spend some time with us. And I thought it would be good to reach out and catch up with Hal. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. We'll catch up with your phone calls coming up in a little bit. But the former New Mexico State coach, amongst other things. Did you know he's a alumni? Played football at New Mexico Military Institute as well. But coached in the XFL and has been doing a lot of different things. And known as one of the greatest minds in the last 3 decades in college football. Just want to catch up with Hal Mumme, so he joins us this morning on The Sports Animal. Hello, Hal. How you living?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good and appreciate you spending some time with us. You do you miss being in college football with all the changes with NIL and transfer portal and everything else that these coaches are having to deal with? Or you sit back and watch it and say, man, I'm glad I'm done?
Well, my son's the offensive coordinator at Colorado State, Matt, so I hear it all the time from him, and I don't think I miss it.
Yeah. How much, I'm not looking for dirt, but, I mean, how much was going on beforehand? Who was it? It was Lane Kiffin the other day who said, basically, we've just legalized cheating. I don't know if that's right. Was there a lot going on, and now it's just legalized cheating?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think all that's true.
Yeah,
and you know, the whole, to me, the NIL deal kind of legalized what you're describing there, but the portal deal is what has changed things. I mean, there's kids getting left out. The high school senior has no chance to get a scholarship anymore
unless he's a top kid.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, a 5-star or something, but other than that, I mean, they're you know, they'll go visit and they'll say, well, I'm going to take they'll get offered, and then they'll say, well, I'm going to take my other visits. As they walk out the door, the coaches are just laughing because they're just going to be a portal guy. They're like, that offer's not going to be there in another week.
Well, you know what I was at the bowl meetings in April, and the stat that was presented to us was of the kids that go into the portal, 30% of them move down a level, whether it's Power 5 to Group of 5 or Group of 5 to FCS, and 30% are completely left out. 30% are left holding the bag. They left a scholarship and don't have one. And
it's a dog eat dog world. It is. Yeah. If you're asking if I miss it, no. The simple answer is no.
Yeah. Hal Mumme's with us. You miss coaching though. You miss the everyday going out there, and I know you've been doing a lot of different stuff with in the XFL and in the spring league. But do you miss the everyday just working with players?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you always miss that. You always miss the camaraderie. I'm doing this deal with the International Football Alliance right now, and that's been kind of fun. We've been working on it for about a year. We're getting ready to debut it in the spring, and I think it'll be a fun league. They're fun kids to work with. They have no ego. They just want some film and have a shot. You know, they just want to play.
I think when those leagues realize that's what they are, right? The developmental leagues are they're not challenging the NFL because nobody will. I think that's when those leagues have a shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're that's why they're the most fun players to coach.
Totally makes sense.
When I went to the spring league in 21, that Jerry Glanville was one of the rival coaches, and Jerry said, you're going to see the hardest hits you've ever seen in football. I said, really? You think so? And he goes, oh yeah, I know so. He said, these kids, all they want is a chance at the NFL, and you're going to see some of the hardest hits you've ever seen. He was exactly right.
Yeah, it's something. Hal Mumme's with us for a few more minutes. The former New Mexico State coach, former Kentucky coach, and in lots of a few other places. Hal, he's with us on the opening drive.
Now, Hal, when you speak of development and helping players, who helped you the most kind of along the way, whether it was as a player and then when you transitioned into coaching and started to develop your offensive ideas?
Well, I think probably the guy that should get the most credit is Lavelle Edwards, because Lavelle's was the old BYU offense was the basis for what people now know as air raid. And Mike Leach and I went out there all the time and studied, and he was very gracious and let us do that. And so I always give him as much credit as possible.
And you look at that, football at that moment, what was so different about the air raid offense, and what was it that you, Mike Leach, guys that flocked to and saw something in it for the future?
Well, it changed the game because it allowed players just to have fun playing the game, and in the mid '80s through the mid '90s, we were losing the players to other sports, and now that's not true. So I think that's probably the most important thing we did.
Hal Mummy's with us on the Sports Animal. I got to know Mike Leach pretty well. We had him in the New Mexico. I can't believe it's 10 years ago now, 2013, when he was here with Washington State. And I kept in touch with him a couple times a year over the years. And I, like everybody, was just shocked. I mean, stunned to a still when he passed away. I'm not going to ask you if you were shocked, because I know you were, but your thoughts on what Mike meant, because everywhere he went, he was so different, so quirky, but yet so approachable, so kind, and obviously an insanely good football coach. He made an impression. And if you talk to the people at Texas Tech, they love him. People at Washington State love him. The people at Mississippi State love him. Everywhere he went, what was it about him? Because he made an impression on everybody here, and he was here for 4 days, and people still talk about him.
He was a true ambassador for the game and our particular style of the game. And I think anybody that, as you're saying, anybody that ever met Mike that remembers him, and that's a big part of his legacy, is that he was just so approachable and such a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, and he wasn't afraid to do things different, and that's kind of where you were too. When you took this offense and you and him grew it, and everywhere you took it, there was a knock, and I was talking to a defensive coordinator who said I didn't want to go to work for him because they don't play defense there. And there was kind of a knock that you just wanted to outscore him. I don't know, was that true? It was a different brand of football, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. We defensive coordinators are all the same guy, really. I used to tell Mike that all the time. We had a 20-year conversation over that. And way back in the day, in the 90s, he used to come to me and go, "Are you going to fire so-and-so, the defense coordinator?" I go, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Well, why not? Nobody likes him." I said, "It doesn't matter. It's not him. It's just you just don't like defensive coordinators. And if I fire him and hire another guy, you'll be in here next year asking me if I'm going to fire that guy."
And he probably acknowledged that you were right.
20 years later, I'm sitting. I was coaching at McMurray. It was his first year or so at Washington State. He calls me up in the middle of the night and he goes, "How'd you know?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "How'd you know that they're all the same guy?" I go, "Well, they're defensive coordinators. They spend too much time in a dark room. They can't talk to a recruit unless they've had large amounts of alcohol. I mean, they're just it's a different breed." And so, yeah, I knew. And so I gave him this list of like 10 things. And he goes, "Slow down, I'm writing them down."
And it was 3 a.m.
It was a great story. He goes on forever. We didn't worry about defense very much.
Obviously not.
I mean, you're allowed to get them off the field in 3. The one thing that used to really make us mad was they'd say, "Well, y'all score too fast." Oh, really? You're allowed to get them off the field in 3 plays. Just go out there, first down, shut them down, second down, shut them down, third down, shut them down. They'll punt. I promise you, every time they'll punt. Yeah. Just go out there and shut them down for 3 downs. You don't have to spend 12 plays on the field.
So
you don't have to do that.
Do defensive coaches say offensive coordinators are all the same? Do they have the same thought process?
No, not the offense. It's just the defensive guys.
Yeah.
They're all the same guy.
Yeah. Hal Mumme with us for a few more minutes. When you guys went totally different with this thing, was there? I mean, there had to be people just saying, "You guys are nuts. This isn't how you play football, right?" You got to run the ball. What made you just believe and keep evolving this thing?
Well, we started down that road, and then what really changed it was when we started playing fast and no huddling and not only no huddling but playing fast. There was a lot of no huddle teams around, but they didn't play fast. So when we started playing fast and trying to run a play every 15, 20 seconds, that's what made it take off. And when we did that, that's where people stood up and took notice.
Yeah.
And we went to Valdosta State in 1992. And the first year down there, everybody in South Georgia thought we were nuts. And we had a high school clinic. We put on a clinic. It was a great clinic. We had NFL coaches. We had major college coaches. We had a whole bunch of guys. And 0 coaches from the area showed up. We had none. Nobody registered. And they were sending us some messages that this stuff won't work in college football, particularly not in South Georgia. And so we had to claw out of that hole down there, but it worked, and it did work. And then we went to the University of Kentucky, and they said the same thing. As soon as we got there, it wouldn't work. And then we beat Alabama, and the rest is kind of history. Everybody started coming to see us after that.
Yeah, and they had a first-round pick at quarterback, and everybody was into it. All right, how you feeling? Your health good? You feel good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing this IFA deal.
Good. Well, have fun with that. I'm looking forward to watching it. You keep an eye on New Mexico State at all? Do you follow them? You watch what Jerry did last year?
Yeah, I like Jerry, so I always follow Jerry. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I wish them well. I hope they do really good.
And their quarterback is a New Mexico military alumni, just like you. Even
better.
Yeah. Let's catch up again. I miss you. It's good to hear you. It's
good. Same here. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Be well. Continued success, Hal. Appreciate the time.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate
take care.
You guys.
Take care. Hal Mumme. Spent a lot of time with Hal back in the day. There was a day we used to do DC every Tuesday. We would talk about the game and next week's game, and he says, well, in that draw he's got, they got different grass. We're going down on a Pewana grass, and we're used to the evergreen grass, whatever the heck it was. I don't know. And it kind of slightly, it threw us off a little bit. It's the grass. He's the mind, though, the whole concept, right? Everybody told him they were nuts. And now everybody's running some sort. Well, not everybody. But one thing I learned, all defensive coordinators are the same. That's what I just learned. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by GeneratorFranchise.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was just sitting in a room and you shut up and listen, and the stories they could tell. Tell me you can't see Leach calling him 10 years later at 2:30 in the morning his time, so it's probably 4:30 in the morning your time, right, or wherever he is, and continuing a conversation from 15, 20 years ago. How'd you know? What the hell are you talking about? How'd you know? Right?
That was so good. That was so good.
They're all the same. They all just sit in dark room. They can't talk to a recruit without alcohol.
I lost it. I absolutely lost it when he dropped that.
He's like, you scored too quickly. Now, I'm not lying to you. I did talk to a defensive coordinator in the last X number of months who told me that at one point they were offered a job to go work for Leach, and were advised to not do it because they don't play defense. That they don't care about defense, that it's gonna hurt you. And think about it. How many Mike Leach defensive coordinators can you think of? Well, you think of the trees, right? You think of Hal Mummy's tree or Mike Leach's tree. How many defensive guys you think of? Zach Arnett's the only one, right? I mean, it's amazing that Zach Arnett, La Cueva High School, former Lobo, defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, is the guy that ascended when Mike passed away. It is kind of crazy, right?
It is.
But think of their trees. Do you think of a lot of defensive guys on there?
Not at all.
Right?
No.
But they came off the field. You scored too quickly. What the hell? You can stop them 3 plays, Stop them on first down, stop them on second down, stop them on third. I guarantee you they're going to punt.
Promise you they'll punt.
Promise you they'll punt.
That was so good.
It's just some good old school football. But, his son, Matt, is the offensive coordinator for Jay Norvell up at Colorado State. He was with Jay at Nevada, and another really, really good offensive mind. And he gets it, too. Just good conversation. If you missed it, go catch it because I think you'll enjoy it. I want to get into this, but I think, what do we have, like 3 minutes left in this segment? I don't know that we have the time. But, JJ, there's movement, or at least supposedly going to be movement in the Pac-12 media deal. And I've seen some whispers of it. I've seen some drops. Have you seen anything on the Pac-12 media deal? Any details?
No details on it.
All right, so let me read you. I think I have time to read you this before the break, and then we can talk about it afterwards. So the deal. This is from who is this? M. Heaver. It's from a journalist, but says he's got connections. But people have been sharing this. So if this is right, it says the deal will be for $20 million per school, up to 12 schools, which right there tells me that's not enough, right? Apple will take over the Pac-12 network. Does that help distribution of the Pac-12 network if it's on Apple?
Well, I think as we continue to move forward, that's becoming a much more common streaming service for people as they transition.
Do you have Apple TV?
I don't subscribe to it right now, but it's easy to.
How much is it?
Throw on.
Is it another $7 a month? Another one of those? All right. Apple absorbed the production costs. I guess that was the last minute ad over the weekend. Give a one-time payment, Apple will, of $70 million, which will cover the Comcast debt, which it paid directly to the conference, so the schools won't see that. The Pac-12 network will become a subscription add-on to Apple TV. So not only is it Apple TV, it's another addition. You have to add, it's your basic subscription plus if you want that. The additional payouts would trigger to the conference when certain tiers of subscriptions are met. So you get a million and you get more to 5 million, 10 million, etc. So any school leaving or already left is still on the hook for their share. The money's going to be used to help buyouts for other schools who are getting invited. I'll give you more details as put out by this. I just don't know that it's going to be enough. The $20 million is a base per school, and then bringing in San Diego State and SMU or whoever else at a half share. Is that enough to keep this whole thing together? What we're hearing about the Pac-12 media deal, and is it going to be enough to keep it all together? It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and DC on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
The Jim Rome Show.
It's been more than 2 months since the JETS landed Aaron Rodgers, but the vibes are somehow still as good as they were the day that trade became official. When was the last time you could say that about this team? Not since Broadway Joe was out there in his mink coat and white cleats. They finally have the pieces in place to actually contend. They are the most interesting team in the NFL right now.
The Jim Rome Show. Weekdays at 10 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
DQ presents. That's the sound of someone seeing the DQ $7 meal deal. And that's the sound of someone deciding if they want the original cheeseburger or 3-piece chicken strips with their $7 meal deal. And that's the sound of someone digging into their choice of original cheeseburger or 3-piece chicken strips, plus regular fries, a drink, and a sundae. Sounds pretty good, right?
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud
Grab the
supporter
full-size
of
$7
Pro
meal deal
Networks.
only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hey, it's Brandon Vogt. When Right to Bear Arms expanded, they added more guns, more ammo, more accessories, and more space for classes. Choose from a great selection of reloading supplies and tactical gear. Sign up for monthly concealed carry and basic handgun and carbine classes. Best of all, Right to Bear Arms has the gun experts to take care of the new or most experienced gun owner. Experience the difference at Right to Bear Arms on the southeast corner of Wantabo and Montgomery, or at righttobeararmsnm.com. When you visit, it'll be your new favorite gun shop.
Staples has big savings on everything you need for back to school or stocking up the office. Save on signs, banners, and posters from Staples Print and Marketing Services. Save on everything you need for travel, like
It's a good feeling, and we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Big day in college sports for the Pac-12. Evidently, George Kliavkoff is going to present the new media rights deal to the presidents of the Pac-12 and trying to keep it together. The stuff I'm hearing is $20 million per team, which I don't know is enough, but there's some details that are leaking out. We'll learn more as we go. It's the opening drive, Jeff and JJ in D.C. You're welcome to get in today at 505-246-0610. That's the Sports Animal phone line and text line. So Kliavkoff, according to reports, is going to recommend going to 12 teams, 12 schools. That means they have to add 3. That would be San Diego State, SMU, and what? Is that Vegas? Is it Colorado State? I mean, who else do you think they're going to try to pluck from the Mountain West? San Diego State, SMU, and Colorado State for the market? Potentially?
Yeah, and then how much do they care about the academic side of it?
Well, I think both, all 3 of those schools are decent. The report says that they want to go to 12 and pay half shares to the new additions for the duration of this contract, which would be $10 million. which will leave the rest of their shares to be divided amongst the remaining original members based on aggregate television ratings over the previous decade. So basically, $30 million, or if Arizona leaves, that'd be $40 million, to divvy up between the remaining 9 or 8 schools. Heavily weighted towards Washington, Oregon, and Utah, trying to keep Washington, Oregon, and Utah. So they'll say, all right, Oregon State, Washington State, you get 10, 12 million. And Oregon, you get 38 million. And San Diego State and SMU, you get 10. Keep in mind the new deal with the Big 12 is giving each team about $31 million. So unknown currently if this is going to placate Oregon and Washington. From everything I'm reading, Oregon and Washington don't want to go to the Big 12. They want to go to the Big 10. There's a lot here, man. There's a lot here. I just don't know that it's enough and it's long enough, and we'll see. I mean, is this what's going to push? And I'm hearing Utah's been courted by ACC, SEC. Why does Utah all of a sudden become the gem?
I've also heard that Arizona State, and Utah would be a trio move somewhere
to the Big 12,
where they don't want to be the individual that destroys something.
Yep, I've read that too.
And so everyone is going to be connected every which possible area, from East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah, yep. The geography doesn't mean squat.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything right now, because this is football, television contracts. Everyone else, bleep off, get on a plane, do what you got to do to play your season.
Yeah, sorry about your little softball team that's got to go 3 time zones away. Yeah.
But it's a good thing we have more TV money to cover these travel costs.
Make sure you make grades,
ultimately, we're going to be making so much more money.
Yeah, make your grades, though. Yeah. Let me give you a little context. So if would I give you $20 million? $30 million is the average, 31.7 for the Big 12. The Big 10, that's where USC and UCLA are going. They're projected to make in the neighborhood of $70 million in television money once their full deal kicks in. So we're looking at $70 million at the Big 10, 31 at the Big 12. SEC's north of all of that. And the Pac-12 wants to come in at 20 and think they're going to keep it together? But somehow incentivize Washington and Oregon and Arizona to stay because they'll get extra. So they'll be close to 30, 35. I just don't know how this works. Now, if you're San Diego State and SMU and you're getting $6, $7 million from your deal, $10 million sounds like more than that, doesn't it? But what's your buyout? So we got a big day coming. There's a lot going to come down, and you're gonna keep hearing stuff as it goes. But I'm concerned on the Mountain West level. I think we all, in our own minds, are all relegated to the fact that at some point San Diego State's gone, right?
Yes.
Okay. But you were hoping to keep the rest of this league together? Colorado State's, I got to believe right there, if they're going to add 3 more, who's the third? Vegas? Colorado State? Boise? I mean, of all that, facility-wise, market-wise, academic-wise, it feels like Colorado State to me.
Yeah, this one, man, it's a totally different world for those schools. If you're telling them, hey, you get $6 million more per year, they're like, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Even though it's way less than their peer institutions are getting. Yeah,
but we're gonna see more. Who holds out in terms of, well, this is not good enough, because how much more is there? Like, how big does the Big 12 want to get, and their television partners are willing to add to that pot to have it? Yeah. And that's why the quiet players in this, it's CBS Sports and Fox Sports. Those are still good platforms.
Hell yes,
those are still good distribution platforms to be on.
Well, let me ask you this. You want to be on CBS and Fox, or do you want to be on Apple, the CW, and what's the other one?
And that's why I really think like something from the Mountain West side could get done. Like, why are they not being the aggressors in this?
And doing what?
Trying to poach Pac-12 teams. If $10 million is the number, if you're CBS Sports and Fox Sports, and you're looking at your Mountain West deal, and you're
probably
get to 10, you're probably not going to get Oregon or Washington out of it. But if you're looking and you're picking, all right, Oregon State, Washington State.
What's their incentive to leave?
Down the line. If you're only going to get $10 million.
They're getting 20. So I think the base is going to be 20.
CBS Sports and Fox Sports could absolutely get to that number if they wanted to and have their super West Coast conference.
So Oregon State, Washington State, Cal, Stanford, the remaining schools, all their base would be 20. From what I just read, and again, we'll hear more details. This is a report, and then they would pay half shares to the new schools, which is 10, and then split the rest of those other shares amongst the remaining schools based on television ratings or viewership, which means Oregon, Washington would be getting a chunk more, right? Arizona, I guess, rates well. I don't know who's watching Arizona football. When was the last time you watched an Arizona football game? Sorry, Grady. When was the last time you watched an Arizona football game?
When was the last time you watched a Pac-12 football game?
I watch them at night because I like the Pac-12, but a lot of them are really hard to get. But I've watched plenty of Oregon and Washington, USC and UCLA and Utah football. I have.
Yeah, and those are all the schools that feel like the grass is going to be greener somewhere else.
Yeah,
and not.
Yeah, and I watch Washington State football because there's always something. There's always something there. Yeah, this is going to be something to watch today. You've got two big things going on today. You've got the baseball trade deadline, and you've got this, and there's a lot to it, and we'll see, because I think over the next few days, and I know I've been saying this for a while, but now that the Pac-12 claims that they've got something concrete to present to their membership, then what? All right, you watching the trade deadline tracker? Are you watching what's going on with baseball's trades? A lot of buzz this morning, but I haven't seen much movement this morning. The Giants got some hitters yesterday with the Mariners. They get A.J. Pollock, so the Giants are making a run. The Mets continue to sell. They sent Mark Canha to the Brewers. Diamondbacks are players. Diamondbacks got a closer, Paul Sewald from the Mariners. A good closer, in fact, from the Mariners. So the names we're watching are Blake Snell and Max. Scherzer. I'm sorry, Verlander. Scherzer got traded. We're watching Verlander. There's a lot of noise of Verlander going back to the Astros.
That would make sense.
Right? Could he go to L.A.? Evidently, the Dodgers have been talking about getting Verlander. But Verlander's got the 2025 option. This is why people are scared of this. If he pitches 140 innings in 2024 next year, if he hits that number, whoever signs him, whoever has him, would be on the hook for about $92 million for 2 more seasons. And he's going to be 41 years old. I mean, that's a tough one to eat, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
I'm paying a guy 43 years old, $92 million.
So the production at that age for that price, it's never been done. We've seen guys like Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux at the end, but Greg Maddux throwing.
Well, he's throwing pus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I think.
Jamie Moyer was trying to.
Yeah, but those are guys who threw. I mean, right? Yeah. They were just throwing junk the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, they were just throwing. It's crazy. All right, when we come back, a lot of NFL news, injury stuff. Bronco fan, you need receivers. Colts, you need running backs. There's a lot of noise. You're like, no, we don't need any of that.
There's running backs and receivers everywhere.
Everywhere, go
get them. What are we worried about? That's what we're told. You can always find a running back. You can always find a receiver.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
All right.
It's like leaves.
Go find one. And then there's big play Dak. What did Dak talk about? How he is going to change the game? And Cowboy fan, how you're going to love it? What Dak had to say about his season and what's going to make him better and you happier. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a
Quarterback, not great quarterback. Okay, throwing down the field, not great. Right? Is that fair?
Yeah, accurate.
All right, his number one receiver, CeeDee Lamb, was on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, said, quote, he's very aggressive and he's looking for the deep ball now. And as you saw on Saturday, it's up there. So if you're not going to back up, this is a warning to everybody. If you're not going to back up, good luck, end quote. Basically saying he's going to throw the ball down the field. Prescott in 12 games last year, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. You buying it that they're going to throw deep? They're going deeper more often with Dak? All right, maybe. Maybe.
I would think they would have already done it with Moore last year. I mean,
well, but maybe that's what Mike Holmgren wants to do now, right? That Kellen didn't believe in him and knew a little bit better. Maybe Kellen Moore didn't buy into that. I don't know.
McCarthy came out and said he wanted to run 30% more this year. So,
well,
it's a very interesting report. Cecil, he knows his stuff. He does have a really good connection. So I believe what he says, but I cannot see them opening up like that.
I don't buy it either. I don't. I mean, I see them taking their shots. I think everybody in the NFL is going to take their shots, but I don't see that. All right, as we're talking about no money for the running backs, and I say no money because, I mean, how can a guy live on $4 million? $141 million guaranteed for Patrick Mahomes is 8th in the NFL. And I think 9 out of 10 people believe Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable commodity in the National Football League.
It should be 10 out of 10. This isn't a trident.
Yeah, but somebody would argue, no, this guy's better, or defensive end's better, or I mean, what is a more valuable commodity in the NFL right now?
No one is more valuable than Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. This is Mahomes, quote, I have a great offensive line. It's everything around me. It's all about having open conversation with the GM and the coach. Right? How much should he get paid? And we watched a career.
Well, this is a great comment. Well, because where you stopped.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, then he went on and said, just knowing where the happy medium is, that will be out there throughout my entire career. So this goes to the conversation that we have been discussing of there's X amount of money available. How do you keep everyone happy? That is going to require a high payday.
So Tom Brady over the years, famously or infamously, took less than he could have been given, right? Now, was he well paid? It goes to the question to which I will never know the answer. How much is enough? Right? How much is enough? How much do you need? And as Jerry Jones said the other day, everybody should always want more money. You should always want more money. All of us are underpaid. Okay. But how much do you need? And in Patrick Mahomes' case, can he make a case that he should be the number one paid player, period, every day, all the time for the next 5 years? Yes. Okay. But how much do you need? Tom Brady used to not take everything that was due him. He made a lot of money. They both make a lot of money off the field. Left some money on the field because they could spread it around and continue to win. And we've watched teams over there. We have this conversation all the time. How is this team going to keep it together? Now they win a Super Bowl. Everybody wants to get paid, right? And so you can't keep everybody together. You got to pick your parts and you got to pay them. And then how are you find the money to pay them? It's the whole Zach Martin thing in Dallas right now without the Super Bowl. Right? How are they going to pay him, and they're going to pay all the defensive guys, and they just paid Dak. And so it comes down to, am I okay making, what's his guarantee? What's he making? Like, but he's still going to make about a quarter of $1 billion.
One where it is so easy to say this.
To say what?
When you're Patrick Mahomes, act like you're the saint when you have $140 million guaranteed. And
you're going to make a quarter of $1 billion. Like when it's all said and done.
Like, and there's dudes on the roster that they could sign 24 contracts for the rest of their life and never get near it for their position.
No, not near it.
And so this is the balance of but that's how impactful that one position is to your salary cap.
But what I'm saying is, if you leave, let's just say he leaves, I don't know, give me a number, $7 million a year on the table, mm-hmm. 10 million, 2 million, 4 million, whatever the number is, that's money that can go towards making a Travis Kelce or a defensive lineman or a left tackle or a cornerback a little happier and stay, right? Because in your world, $4 million is a drop. In their world, $4 million is the difference.
There's an equation that exists. Knowing that you're more valuable after Super Bowl wins, I think Mahomes gets
you being a quarterback or you being everybody.
Well, everybody's worth a little more, but I'm right now speaking about the quarterbacks. That Mahomes, his off-field value goes up when he's winning. Right? We can agree on that. He can make more money on advertising.
Of course.
Right. So he understands that if other guys are getting paid more, he wins more, and then he's more valuable off field.
Yeah, and I think he gets that. Brady seemed to have gotten that.
Brady definitely did. He made over $200 million off the field during his playing career.
Right? And so I go back to a question to which I'll never know the answer. How much is enough? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, well, he's making a quarter, because it's 141 guaranteed, but the contracts, I mean, any of us think he's not going to live through that contract? He's going to make his $248 million or $250 whatever million. I have $1 billion, right? And I'm not going to sit here and tell Patrick Mahomes what's enough. But I think to your point, DC, he's realizing, well, maybe I can live on the 141. I can do okay, and spread a little bit around and keep a left tackle around to keep me upright, and keep Travis Kelce really happy, and keep my defensive tackles and my defensive ends and keep winning Super Bowls. Because the more I win Super Bowls, the more State Farm commercials I do, and the more I make up.
You don't have to win a Super Bowl to do a State Farm commercial.
No, he doesn't. I mean, ask Chris Paul. What's he ever won?
Nothing. Nada.
Who's on more State Farm commercials now, Chris Paul or Aaron
I think
Rodgers?
Chris Paul has cornered the market on State Farm.
Aaron Rodgers was a pretty good State Farm
Rodgers
guy.
had his run. Rodgers! And he won.
Discount double check.
And with these quarterbacks,
yeah,
when we're talking about a Tom Brady and a Patrick Mahomes, they already have rings on the finger, and then they start making these decisions. And so how much does that change the mindset? Because if you're Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott, you might not be thinking the same way as these guys are.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. Because as much as they think they're going to win one, do you think Dak Prescott thinks he's winning it? He probably does. He probably does.
You know, one thing he went on to mention is that he's trying to push on the position and continue pushing the game of football. So when you say how much is too much,
no, how much is enough,
or how much is enough, you have to look at all the other guys too, saying that if I take a lesser deal, that sets the position back a little bit, kind of what's happening with running back right now. So he's got to take enough that it continues to forward the
yeah, he doesn't want to hurt. Right. I get
right.
that. But I mean, what's your priority? Winning, or am I worried about what the guy across town's getting paid? What's your priority?
Should be winning, but
it is.
With the CBA and the unions, you do have to consider the other players too.
Yeah, I want mine. That's my priority. I want to win. That's my number 2 priority. And number 3 is let me take care of everybody else. I think that's kind of how it's got to go. All right, when we come back, I mean, there was a moment we never thought we'd watch him walk, let alone be on the field again. But he was back on the field after almost dying. It's kind of a big deal. We're going to get into what it means and what it can mean. And wow, that's coming up next. Hey, you got an alarm at your business. You got an alarm at home. You got security cameras as well, right? It's not enough. You need IPS. I called IPS years ago. In Albuquerque, the property crime continues to be on the rise. The bad guys are out there. The officer shortage continues to be an issue. That's why I called IPS. It's affordable private security. Don't wait to be a victim of vandalism and theft. IPS offers standing guards and 24-hour patrols to protect your business. They respond quickly to your alarm. They prevent loss and damage to your property. It's private security, and it will save you money. Give them a call. I did years ago. I'm glad I still use International Protective Service. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. You can go online at ipsglobal.com. IPS, making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Yesterday, we watched a guy being revived on a football field. His heart stopped. Really thought he might die. Never thought he'd be on a football field again. Quote, "It feels amazing," end quote. Damar Hamlin on the field yesterday in pads at practice for the first time since suffering cardiac arrest on a Monday night in January in Cincinnati. He participated in padded practice. He said the little moments were remarkable. Quote, "It's a roller coaster of emotions. I was kind of all over the place, just kind of being back for the first time. But God don't make no mistakes. I'm on God's timing. As much as the NFL is on schedule and camp starts this day, this is all God's timing," end quote. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Did you ever think you'd see that? Because I didn't.
It's unbelievable, and it was one of the craziest things you're ever going to see on a football field.
Let's hope
because
so.
all the things after the fact, it was just a freak incident. There wasn't any undiagnosed heart condition. Thankfully for him, he didn't have any lingering effects. Think of just anytime your brain is deprived of oxygen.
Right.
But how they got out there, immediately started the CPR. Once he got back on track, and now he's a football player again.
You know what makes me think of, and we haven't talked about this, the Bronny James thing last week. And, will Bronny play again? And all signs point to he will, and I hope so. I don't know if it's science has come a long way. Is it first response has come a long way? Is it I mean, I don't know. I'm not a cardiologist, man. I just see one, right? But I hear of these young men who were basically dead on the court, on the field. They had to be revived, and the miracle of them playing again. I'm old enough where I think back to Hank Gathers and Loyola Marymount back in the '80s when they were really good, and he basically died on the floor, right, at Loyola Marymount. And there were warning signs, and well, you shouldn't go out. And I'm just, this is amazing. Good to see him out there, and if he plays football in games, and it looks like that's where we're going, man, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Have you ever watched one of these NFL games on Nickelodeon with the SpongeBob and the slime and all that? Did you like? What you have a 4-year-old?
Yes.
So
when you have
how
kids,
was it? No, how was it?
It's good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's? I mean,
like for what they're planning on doing.
Yeah.
Is a very neat, and it is a great idea.
So SpongeBob and the Slime Time and all, it's going to be Super Bowl. The NFL and CBS Sports said yesterday that this season's Super Bowl will have a kids-centric presentation on Nickelodeon. So CBS has the rights to the Super Bowl. It's going to be in Vegas this year, by the way. And they're going to do the experience with all the slime and the characters and everything. So how do you do the Super Bowl? Do you want to watch the Super Bowl like that, or do you?
Well, that would be.
Do you have a kids' room and have the kids go in and watch the Super Bowl like that? How do you do this?
Probably have a kids' room.
Okay.
Dabble. I'll put it on for a few minutes because I know the attention span of 4 or 5-year-old. They're not watching the whole Super Bowl anyway.
They're not.
So
come on, it's only 3.5 hours, 4.5 hours.
Maybe put it on for a drive or two.
All right.
And let him sit down and watch it, and then off he goes.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah. I think it's brilliant by the NFL to just, hook them young. Get them young, get them into football. I think it's brilliant.
It really is. I have one experience with Nickelodeon. It was Christmas last year.
Yep.
And hearing Patrick basically make fun of Russell Wilson as he throws interception after interception.
God bless your kid.
Yeah, and he kept it on because he was enjoying it. So I got to hear the entire thing. And
was that the Rams game?
Yes, it was.
They scored 51 points.
That would be the
against
one.
Denver.
That was the one. I got to watch that whole game.
Yeah, the abominable snowman throwing
with
snowballs.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh my goodness, I just want to shake myself on that one. It was.
It was wonderful.
For you, of course.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Yeah, that was great. Patrick had some funny lines.
I'm kind of watching the highlights of this thing with all what Nickelodeon does with it, and I mean, it's pretty good stuff.
It actually is. The production is great, and to be able to do that live is very impressive.
Yeah. If you want to get it on The Sports Animal, you can. 505-246-0610. That's The Sports Animal text line on the phone line. You brought up a name. We have not talked. We've talked about every damn quarterback I want to say, except for Tampa Bay's quarterback. I haven't heard much about Tampa Bay's quarterback. What kind of year does Baker Mayfield have? Do you guys buy into Baker Mayfield, or do you believe he's one of the lower tier quarterbacks in this league? Let me ask you. I'll even put it this way. That's an easy. Well, it's not easy. Would you rather go into the season with Baker Mayfield or Russell Wilson as your quarterback? I can't believe we're having that conversation.
Here we are. I'd still probably tend towards Russell, but I entertain a conversation about Baker.
Who are you? All right. Well, the hesitation answers all the questions, right?
The silence tells you everything. Yep.
And with what? So let's just say, all right, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, same exact team. I think I'm on Baker Mayfield.
I think I am too. I do.
I can see why. I really can.
You guys, I got, and I may be wrong, man. And for your sake, I hope I'm wrong. And Sean Payton is the quarterback whisperer, and he's going to fix this guy. And I just don't see it. For the life of me, I saw a broken, unconfident, shaky, lost skills quarterback last year. And I saw nothing in Russell Wilson that makes me think it's coming back. Now, does that mean I think Baker Mayfield's great? No, I don't. But at least I saw a couple glimpses out of Baker Mayfield in that Raider game and that Bronco game where, all right, maybe now if you're asking me, do I want either one of them? The answer is no. No, I mean, give me probably 27 other quarterbacks in this league before I'm taking either one of them. But I think I got to go Baker on this conversation too. What makes you lean Russell?
The last 3 games of Jerry Jeudy, he was actually finding some windows that made him look like a professional quarterback. The first 15 weeks, he did not look like that. So
well, he looked like a professional quarterback. All right.
I'm trying to be nice here.
No, I get it. I get it.
It's tough, though, because you bring up a great point. I mean, Baker flashed. There were some times where
And he flashed poorly. I mean, there was some times where he was garbage.
With the Panthers, he looked like he was out of his element.
Yeah, then he got with Sean McVay, and there were some flashes. Like that Raider game where he came back and beat the Raiders that night. Beautiful.
That was something.
Beautiful. I mean, Raider fan had to eat. That was beautiful. Yeah.
I think when we talk about, like, we always try to say, like, who's league average quarterbacking, and the default is Kirk Cousins,
Always.
and he's not.
Always.
He's an above average quarterback.
That's right.
In the NFL.
He just got ranked number 42 on the top 100.
Like
of all time?
No, of this year's NFL top 100.
Players?
Yep, 42.
Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
I like Kirk Cousins, but
42 is very high.
There.
Who did the ranking?
The NFL. It's there on their website.
It's cute.
But I think the more realistic, like, league average quarterback, it's a Baker Mayfield, because it's a guy that if he's on a good team, that team can be successful. If he's on a poor team, he's not going to be the dude that makes them that much better.
I think the league average
the
is?
Carolina thing is there. I think we're going to see that in Tampa Bay, where there's weapons for that team to win 8 or 9 games.
You know who I
with
think the
Baker
league
Mayfield at
average
quarterback.
is? I mean, you're putting a guy at 15 or 16, right? Where I'd rank him? You guys are going to hate this. Dak Prescott. I think he's kind of the league average quarterback. I think Ryan Tannehill is about the league average quarterback. See, I mean, that means there's guys that got to be worse, right? I mean, I think Baker Mayfield is below those guys. Like, average means there's got to be, about half the guys below him, right? And about half the guys above him.
That's right. I kind of think of Derek Carr in that middle range.
Yeah,
too.
I almost went there. I got him a little above average, but I think that's fair just because I like Derek so much I might be tainted. Yeah. All right, we'll continue this when we come back. Hey, Eric Brooks is going to be with us. We're going to hear from the defending champion Fresno State Bulldogs of the Mountain West. 9:15 today is when we continue our tour of the Mountain West Conference. A really interesting young man talking about flipping it around, playing for Jeff Tedford in that offense, about winning at Fresno, about the noise around going to power conferences. So we're going to hear from the defending champions and Eric Brooks, their wide receiver, at 9:15. When we come back, what is an average quarterback? Who is an average quarterback? And yeah, I said it. I think Dak Prescott, more so than Kirk Cousins, is the average quarterback in the NFL. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505 897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
And I didn't give it, like, how long was that break? 3.5 minutes? So I gave it 3.5 minutes worth of thought. What would you say average if there's 32 quarterbacks in the NFL? What's average? 14, 15, 16, 17? Right in there? Is that fair?
I think the conversation changes because I think the average quarterback in the NFL is not just because that's the middle.
Okay, how would you define it?
Because if you're telling me, well, Dak Prescott ends up being the average quarterback, I think he's better than that. And so I'd lower the bar.
Okay. I think there's serviceable and there's average, right? Like because somebody's got to be at the bottom. If you're ranking 32 people, like you can tell me Anthony Richardson's 31, he might be good. I got Russell Wilson, 29. You can tell me he's fine. Desmond Ritter, but I mean, to me, average is there's half above and half below. But okay, I mean, however we define it, we always say average quarterback. Like, is it Jack that I got Kirk Cousins 8th?
No, he's had a good career.
Here, let me throw this at you real quick, and I had to move some stuff around. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Rodgers, Hurts. We okay with the top 5?
Yeah.
Mahomes, whatever you're at. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Rodgers, Hurts. I got Hurts above Herbert because he's won something.
I think that's fair.
All right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got Herbert, Lamar Jackson. And then this is where you guys will start arguing with me. But then I got Kirk Cousins, Tua, and I didn't know where to throw Deshaun Watson. I threw him at 10th. Now, he could be 30th for all I know. I told you he's the biggest wild card. But he might be high. And then 11 through 15, I got Derek Carr, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, and Matt Stafford. 16, Dak. 17, Kyler Murray. 18, Jimmy G. 19, Daniel Jones. And 20, Ryan Tannehill. Those are the guys you're telling me are average quarterbacks, right? Jimmy G, Tannehill, Daniel Jones. But to your point, let me go 21. Here, I'll go 21, 20, 21, Justin Fields. Well, he's pretty good, Jeff. Yeah, all right, who are you putting him ahead of? 21, I got him. 22, I got Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. 23, the two rookies. 24, Kenny Pickett. 25, Mac Jones. 26, Jordan Love, then Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ritter, Russell Wilson, Anthony Richardson, Sam Howell. Yeah. Is that a fair list that I just threw together real quick?
Absolutely. I think the quarterback position, while we discuss it so much and teams that are thirsty, hoping to find their next franchise quarterback, it's in a pretty good place. Because you had, Kirk Cousins 8, and then Dak at 16?
Yeah. And then there's a small gap.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think just because 16 is in the middle of 32 teams that is league average.
Yeah, I guess we're playing semantics, too.
Because when you compare it, say, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, what is 8 spots different between those two?
Yeah, and I think that the stats would play it out. They're both winning at the same non-clip. I guess Dak won a playoff game last year.
Kirk Cousins is 1-3 in the playoffs. Dak is 2-4.
Yeah. They're both winning at the same relative clip, or not. All right. Fresno State's Eric Brooks at 9:15. We'll hear from the defending champions about playing for Jeff Tedford, about this league, about conference realignment, about defending the championship. We'll do all that. When we come back, latest on what's going on around baseball's trade deadline and 0-0. You celebrate like that, you get a lot of criticism. Boy, are the haters out on the U.S. women's national team. It's the opening drive. Thanks for being with us this morning on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman.
Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
While you were asleep, or maybe you're such a big fan you got up or stayed up and watched the United States women's national team advance to the knockout stage of the World Cup with a 0-0 draw against Portugal. Game was from 1 to 3 a.m. our time down in Auckland, New Zealand. And afterwards, the team celebrated, and they are getting beaten up a little bit for it. Good morning to you, and thank you for being with us on the Sports Animal this morning. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck in D.C. So, JJ, when is a tie worth celebrating? We watch it all the time in soccer, right? We watch a draw, and whether it's in USL, they escaped with a point or whatever. In this case, they needed a draw to advance to the knockout stage. Do you feel that they did enough to get through and they should celebrate the success of getting through to the knockout stage, or should there be disappointment because, as many people are telling me, and the critics are all over them, that they underachieved?
This is the classic get off my rocks, because you have players that won World Cups, that have been there, done that, that set the level of expectation where the United States women's team, for a lot of people, should be untouchable.
Untouchable for criticism?
No, and on the pitch.
Okay.
Like a draw, get out of here. You shouldn't be drawing. You should be scoring 3-4 goals every single match. Like that's what people feel like this team should do.
Are they that
But
good, though? The world's caught
not
up,
this,
right?
not this team.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change expectation. That doesn't change when people start talking about something or the Women's World Cup or this exact segment right now. People are listening, and they don't expect us to be talking about struggles for the U.S. Women's National Team.
Because we never have.
A lot of people probably just listening right now like, oh, they didn't win 5-0.
Right.
Oh, they must stink.
They must be horrible. Well, this is, to me, a classic case of the other guys are on scholarship
and
too,
you got to
right?
understand, there are a lot of players on this team. This is their first ever World Cup. And you need to allow them to experience the emotions and learn and understand what each step is. And if they let out a little extra celebration than you're used to, if you're a legend that's won, just relax.
How much of it is the world's catching up a little bit?
A
That
lot
the
of it.
Portuguese have a program too, that they trained, that their young ladies want to win too, that they have coaches and video and they practice. I mean, we have this conversation all the time about college sports or pro sports. Like the other guys are getting paid too, right? The other guys are there too. We look at, well, it was Vietnam. They only beat them 3-0, and they should have beat them 5-0. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a connoisseur. I'm reading some of the stuff this morning, and the criticism on the U.S. national team for celebrating, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. They're celebrating because the relief. There's a lot of pressure on this team, and they advanced to the next stage. The whole point of getting up in the morning, right, and going to work was, let's get out of this stage and move on, right? Survive and advance. They did. Now, I don't know what appropriate celebration is, man. I don't know. I'm not on this team. I haven't trained for months to be in the World Cup and go across the world and feel that pressure. All I know is they advanced. I mean, I don't know. I watch teams advance. Let me ask you this. So I watch baseball teams win a one-game series in the wild card and break out bottles of champagne and spray each other in the locker room. And honestly, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, really? Like you won one game and that to me is excessive celebration. I don't know. They just advanced to the next round. Maybe it isn't. I don't even know what the right amount of celebration is.
I definitely think a lot of this is
Get off my lawn.
Ex-players that have such a high level of expectation, but it's young players that are experiencing it for the first time. They'll learn, they'll get there, let them enjoy the moment of moving on. But I don't think it's lost on this group at all that they play like this. Their next game is their last game.
They damn near lost. 91st minute, the Portuguese hit the post, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a whole nother story. And then we'd be having a whole nother story. But I've heard words like embarrassing and look what are we doing? Insane. Carly Lloyd, former player, called it insane to doubt the player's drive after this. Well, it is what it is. But they're moving on. If you watched it, if you stayed up in the middle of the night, God bless you, and I'd love to hear you. Hey, DC, I want to revisit the conversation we were just having before we went to break. So JJ asked, I don't even know if you asked. We were having a conversation about average quarterback. You said average quarterback, we always talk about Kirk Cousins. And I pushed back a little bit. I said, I think Kirk Cousins is above average, and you agree. I said, my average quarterback would be Dak Prescott. And I just did a quick ranking. And look, I think any rankings when it comes to something like this, don't you guys both believe it's subjective?
Absolutely.
So, DC, you pulled out the athletics ranking of quarterbacks, then you pulled out the players' rankings. They all differ, right? You got Trevor Lawrence all over the place, Geno Smith all over the place, Dak all over the place, Russell Wilson all over the place, right? So what did you learn by looking at all these rankings?
I learned that the players have a very different opinion than coaches and executives.
Go ahead and hit a few of those.
All right. So on the player list, and that this is the NFL 100, it's voted on by the players. There were some surprises.
So this is overall 100, not just quarterbacks. Who are the best players?
All positions.
Who's number one?
Okay. So working from back to first, because it's only 40 through 100 that's available right now. Trevor Lawrence was at 96. Fields at 86. Tua at 82. Lamar Jackson was 72. Geno Smith 77.
Lamar Jackson 72.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Trevor Lawrence where?
96.
So he's below Tua. Tua's below Geno, right? Players love Geno.
It is wild because the executives had Lawrence at 8 overall in their second tier.
8 quarterback overall.
Correct.
Yeah. And where do I have him? I got him at 12, 13th. Yeah. On the rise.
So they had Jared Goff at 66. Dak was at 56.
So they love this. The players.
This is the players.
They love them some Dak too.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers 51, and then Cousins 42.
So Cousins above Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. That's the one that really surprised me because I thought the players think very highly, and I've heard, maybe I'm wrong, but I've heard that they think highly of Aaron Rodgers and his skill set.
Well, they obviously think highly of Kirk Cousins.
Yes, they do.
Do we know what percentage of players in the NFL took part in that survey?
Let me see.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious what kind of sampling. That's I'm not going to lie. That's stunning that the players have Kirk Cousins the 41st most valuable or best player in the NFL above Aaron Rodgers. Is that an age thing? Nobody's going to say he had a better career, he's better overall ever quarterback, but currently.
And it's always, what are you feeling about in the moment? Are you just saying, hey, let's look at what said player did with their team last year? Because Kirk Cousins was better than Aaron Rodgers when it came to team record last season. I still think if I'm going head to head, I would pick Aaron Rodgers over Kirk Cousins, even at this point in Aaron Rodgers' career.
I'm going to throw you a really, really interesting question that would have been a no-brainer a year and a half ago. Who's a better quarterback? And I define better quarterback as of today. Who do you want right now? Jared Goff or Matt Stafford?
You have to go Jared Goff.
Don't you?
Yeah, you really do.
Now, that doesn't mean the Rams lost the trade. You know why?
They won a Super Bowl.
Got the ring.
They won a Super Bowl. So it doesn't mean the Rams lost that trade. In fact, they won that trade because they won a Super Bowl.
I think everyone won that trade, really.
Well, as time plays out, and you know who I give all the credit in the world to on that? Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Lions. Jared Goff was a throw-in to that deal. Jared Goff was, well, we have to take him. Fine, we'll take on his salary, but we want your first-round pick. Yeah, we'll give you Matthew Stafford, and he may put you over the top to win a Super Bowl. And fine, we'll take Goff off your hands and all that money you're giving him. Fine, we'll pay him, but we want a first-round pick. So then they get the extra first-round pick. They had 2 in this year's draft. And they get a quarterback who I think is top 12, top 15, certainly in the NFL right now. And he wasn't working with the offensive genius that is Sean McVay. Obviously, they didn't get along. And sometimes the personalities work, sometimes they don't. And Dan Campbell said, all right, give me a guy who was the first overall pick in the draft. And him and that staff turned him back into a guy that you're going, damn, Jared Goff was good last year. Like, he's got to get some credit, right? And he was a freaking joke. When he took over the Lions, it was going to bite kneecaps, and they were crummy that first year. He was a flippin' joke. Then he became a star during Hard Knocks, and now they're everybody's darling in the NFC.
Is the hype train?
It might be
over the top.
It might be on Jared Goff or Dan Campbell.
On Jared Goff.
Well, I don't know the hype train. I mean, look at him. Look at his. Was he good last year?
How about down the stretch?
So
there were some numbers DC was telling me the other day that
like
pretty
what?
interesting.
Down the stretch he struggled?
No, he was good down the stretch.
Or was it the beginning?
The first 11 games. After that 11th game, he was ranked 29th overall in quarterbacks in the NFL. So
and yet
so then in reverse, you should be feeling it. You should love what the Lions do and the way they finish the season.
Look,
the additions that they made, because that team is not going to be better because of Jared Goff. It's going to be better if they play some defense.
Well, they played no defense. That's why they didn't make the playoffs last year. So I look at a guy who should be going into his prime, right? Who physically isn't the runner, but has a cannon of an arm, who is a bright guy, a Cal Berkeley grad, a smart guy, seems like he gets it. Like, every quarterback's on it with this a big year, right? Like, I think it's a big year for Tua. It's a big year for Justin Fields. A big year for Deshaun Watson. I think it's a pay year for Goff, right? And was that a mirage that we watched last year? Or is that guy ready to establish himself and get paid again.
I mean, he's already been to a Super Bowl.
That's right.
So I think people forget that for some reason.
Well, so is Jim Garoppolo, and he never gets credit for that either.
They forget it because he scored 3 points.
Yeah, they lost 13-3 in that Super Bowl.
It was compelling.
It pissed me off.
Yeah.
And, it was like, what
and
the
they missed
hell?
the field goal at the end.
What the hell?
To kick an onside kick.
Yeah, that was one of the worst Super Bowls ever.
It wasn't good.
No,
yeah, it
no,
really
it's not.
kind of sucked, actually.
But moving forward, the last 6 games.
But
the last 6 games for Goff were amazing. He was able to bump himself from 29 to 22. That's a big jump in 6
In
games.
stats?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, we're going to continue our look at Mountain West Conference football, and we're going to pay a visit to the defending champion Fresno State Bulldogs. They have offense. Every time you think of Fresno State and Jeff Tedford's teams, you think about offense. They think they got a great defense this year, JJ. But one of their studs offensively is Eric Brooks. He's going to tell you why they're going to repeat and what it's like playing for Jeff Tedford and what it's like to deal with all that conference realignment talk around his program. It's a conversation with the defending champions, Fresno State, and Eric Brooks, next on these Sports Animals Opening Drive.
Telling it like it is.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
and act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Lobos kick off next month, like a month from tomorrow. Like we're here. It's opening drive, Jeff, JJ, DC. We're in Vegas for Media Day just a couple of weeks ago, and continuing our conversations. JJ, I thought the student athletes were really good in this one. It's always, coaches are good, and we didn't do a lot of X's and O's with coaches, but I thought the student athletes were terrific this year.
It's such a great time because it's a fantastic behind the scenes of the Mountain West Conference, and it's an eye-opener, but the stories you get to share, and then also the fact that this is going to be a big chunk of what we talk about, and getting a chance to learn about the entire conference from the coaches to these programs, it is huge, and the fans and listeners benefit.
The defending champion is Fresno State. Eric Brooks is one of their star receivers. Fresno State scores points. They got athletes. They got a defense this year they think is going to be better than they've ever been. We got to sit down and have a conversation with one of their studs on offense. Here's our conversation with Eric Brooks. Fresno State wide receiver in a senior year, Eric Brooks, it's good to see you.
Yes,
as you go into this whole thing, look, Fresno State every year, I think, is going to have high expectations.
Yeah.
How much credence do you put into the preseason polls? How much do you put into what people think about you beforehand?
Not too much. I said earlier in the day that we do a good job of trying to keep our expectations within our walls in the locker room, around the building. We know people outside are going to talk and have their own expectations for us, but we try not to let them put their limitations on us or their expectations on us, because we know what we can be each and every year.
Yeah.
We know the work that we put in each and every day, so we know that we're a championship team, championship caliber team every year.
No, you're a defending champion team. That means you're a champion caliber. When you're a wide receiver at Fresno State, it also comes with expectations, right?
Yeah.
The lineage of wide receivers goes back so long. It's expected, isn't it? When you walk on the field, do you feel it? Is it something you embrace, the lineage, the history of wide receivers there, or is it pressure to live up to something?
No, I feel like there's no pressure. I feel like it's more something that you want to live up to and something that you look forward to, being the the driving force of the team. Being the group, the position group that people on the team and in the stands are watching, to make those big plays in big moments. I feel like it's a driving force to make you work extra hard, and it's just fun at the end of the day, being the the group that powers
And being
the
the
training.
guy
Yeah.
in the group, huh?
Yeah.
He's Eric Brooks, Fresno State's wide receiver. A guy who threw you the football last year was really good. Now he's going to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jake Haener.
Mhm.
Change is inevitable in this game. So you got a new quarterback in. Talk a little bit about the change at quarterback, what that means for you and for that club.
We're still going through a process of a quarterback battle right now, so we don't know who the guy is going to be. Whoever's out there though, we'll feel comfortable. I'll feel comfortable with him throwing the ball and him running the offense. Obviously, it's Mikey's first year in the system. We have some young guys, Jaden, Josh Wood, Logan Fife, a returner coming back. Everyone's fighting for a spot. So I can't say who's the starter going to be. It's a battle. I'd say it's a four-way battle right now. But I feel confident with whoever's out there. Yeah. As long as the ball can get thrown, I'll feel confident with whoever's out there. So.
Now, Eric, you look at what this team has done wide receiver-wise the last few seasons, and Jeff mentioned it, there's been some fantastic guys. And in this day and age, it's easy if you don't see the playing time in front of you, the players are going to go, all right, I'm going somewhere else. What keeps you focused? What kept you locked in, saying I'm staying at Fresno State because my time is coming?
You know, a mentor of mine, Keyshawn Johnson, he was here when I first got here. I always talk to him about what I can do to get better, and he's always had high expectations for me ever since I got here. So being able to learn from him and knowing the support I have from family and friends back home, just to not take the easy way out, just to be patient, keep working. And I knew that my time would come eventually, and that whenever I got my opportunities, just to make the most of them. And so that's what I did.
You get a couple of your former high school teammates too, who are playing football in the Mountain West. What's it like to see some guys that you went to high school with make that jump and still kind of have that rivalry with them at the other schools?
It's cool. You know, I have my guy over at San Jose State, Chase Williams. He's a safety. So he had just went over there from USC. He had transferred over there. So it was cool playing against him this year. You know, we talk on the field, and I talk to him all the time back home on social media, you know, all throughout the year. So it's cool being able to play against, you know, guys you're familiar with, a little extra motivation, extra trash talk, but it's all fun and games. And, you know, I just have fun, you know, playing against guys like that.
Eric Brooks, Fresno State wide receiver with us on the Sports Animal. So what put you at wide receiver? Because, you know, in high school, a lot of you guys are playing both ways.
Yeah.
Secondary, like, what was it that drew you to the wide receiver position?
Well, growing up, I used to play running back. And then
They don't get paid.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that right now. Yeah, so growing up, I used to play running back. I say around, like, when I was 12, I made the switch to receiver. I forgot why. It's because on our team, we had a running back already. He was really, really good. So they decided to put me in the slot at receiver so I could still, you know, get the ball and handoffs and stuff like that, and run the little short routes and stuff. And so after I started playing a little bit, I was like, okay, I kind of like this position. You know, it's a little bit of a learning process, learning how to, you know, catch the ball, you know, down the field and stuff like that. But once I got to high school, I really decided to just stick with receiver. I played a little bit of defensive back senior year, but I figured receiver is what, you know, I like. I like making the big, you know, the big catches, the big plays.
It's fun.
You know, having the crowd cheer for you all the time is exciting. Scoring a touchdown, so I really like that.
Eric Brooks is that guy for Fresno State. He's with us just for a few more minutes. You know, when Jeff Tedford came back as your head coach, and y'all were in the New Mexico Bowl just a few years ago and won that thing, and I was there firsthand, felt the excitement when Jeff came back, and the program was on the rise. What does he mean? A guy that's an alum there that loves that place so much, that has the perspective that the community loves. There's got to be something about having a guy that is so deep rooted in a program and is so good at what he does. What's it like playing for him?
So playing for Coach Tedford is a great experience. I mean, that guy really loves you for you, you know, not just as a football player, but he's really into, you know, what you're doing. You know, he recruited me up here as a walk-on. So to see him go and then come back was really big. But, you know, he still knew about my family. He still remembered my first visit up there, you know, our first meeting up there. He still remembered, you know, everything that from our first visit to now. So it's just cool to be around a guy like that, and his attention to detail and his approach. You know, he's so precise. When we're out there on the practice field, he pays attention to everything. You may not think he's even watching, but he'll be on the other side of the field and he'll call something out from way on the opposite side. So, you know, his just attention to detail, his execution, how he takes care of every little thing. And, you know, he's hard in between the lines, but, you know, once we step off that field, you know, it's like a family. So,
Eric, how much do you listen to the noise, the outside noise about conference realignment and this conference and this school, and Fresno State's been in it? Does that get into the locker room? Is it even something you guys talk about?
I don't feel like it's anything that is in between our discussion, our daily discussion. You know, we're focused on what we can control. You know, we're in the Mountain West Conference, and that's where we play football at. It's a great conference, great competition in the conference, and we know that, you know, we take it one game at a time. Whatever happens with realignment and stuff like that is kind of out of our control, and we're just going to play ball wherever we have to play ball at.
Which will start at Purdue this year.
Yeah.
Eric, when you look at this list and it's preseason favorites, it's conference champions, division champs, conference champs, you see Fresno State on that list a lot. Do you feel like you guys get the respect you deserve in the Mountain West Conference?
Not as much as we deserve. You know, we got some first place votes. But being the defending champs, I feel like we should get a little bit more. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's about what we think and our expectations, not anyone else's. And we just control what we can control. And that's one game at a time.
Appreciate the conversation.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you. You keep doing what you're doing. Have
Thank
fun
you.
up there.
Appreciate it.
Telling it like it is.
Not everybody is supposed to like each other in football.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Good conversation with Hal, telling some stories, Mike Leach stories, air raid stories, and it's all available for you. Go to our website, sportsatlabq.com, and click on the opening drive, and it's all there for you. It's Jeff, JJ, and DC. 505-246-0610. How you living? Text line says this morning at 505-246-0610, Tommy Tuberville and Joe Manchin, the Senators, not wanting transfers is a hat tip to the programs they are attached to. West Virginia and Auburn are programs kids transfer out of. They are routinely decimated. So there's a bill that was introduced in Congress by these two senators, bipartisan bill, one Republican from Alabama and one a Democrat from West Virginia. Auburn is where Tommy Tuberville coached for years, and West Virginia is the flagship program in West Virginia. Do you believe that was part of what why they tried to slide? Well, let me backtrack. NIL has been the issue. Name, image, likeness, conference commissioners, people have been asking Congress for help. So these two senators put a bill forward, and part of that bill was eliminating the unlimited transfer, one-time unlimited transfer. Well, it's not unlimited. It's one-time transfer without penalty, saying that a student would have to be enrolled at a school for 3 years, barring special situations. And they're trying to sneak that in. Do you think part of them trying to sneak it in is to protect their interests?
Well, it's probably the people they hear from. Tommy Tuberville is the last dude I'm going to talk about the health of college football and what's good for the student athlete. Because that's just one of those old school dudes his feet are locked in concrete. He's not budging on anything.
I wonder about perspective. And I say this because what Hal Mummy said this morning, right? Hal Mummy was with us. Hal's been coaching for 40 years. He's 71 years old. Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss coach, said 2 weeks ago at Media Day that NIL, we need help. He basically said, we've legalized cheating. He didn't basically say that. He said, we've legalized cheating. That this stuff's been going on, and now it's pay to play, and it's just we're legalizing. And I asked Hal, I said, has this been going on, as long as you've been doing it? He was in the SEC at Kentucky. Have you legalized cheating? He says, well, yeah, it's been going on. He says, whatever you just said, he didn't say, but he said, yeah, what you just said. Now, it's not cheating if it's legal anymore, right? So I think before we solve the issue, I think we need to determine what the issue is. To your point, is it just old guys saying, well, these damn kids shouldn't get paid? Grady's been on that. Give them whatever they want. There doesn't need any. He hates the word guardrails. Okay, or does there need to be some sort of structure to this? And I don't know that we're at a consensus of what it is we need.
There is no consensus. Because if you want structure, if you want guardrails, if you want transparency, then you're going to have to fold in the collectives as
part of
the university, so everyone will be on the same page.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could be your collective club, your NIL foundation, but it's going to have to, instead of just saying, hey, we have a partnership, we can use our logos, interact with our student athletes, like it would have to be folded in even more so to have that kind of transparency across the board, because then what are you talking about? You are talking about creating salary caps in that instance to say, hey, this is what we want to do for these programs, cap it here, not go over this, because it's got to be fair and balanced. Nothing's fair and balanced in college athletics. We're sitting here talking about schools that are like $20 million ain't good enough for us, and we're worried about NIL money.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I think you can be worried about more issues than one, but I think it. So you're saying it should be uncapped and just spend what you can spend. Is that kind of what you feel?
At this point, because if someone's willing to give that money,
okay,
say no.
Because you feel it should be rolled into the university to control it.
I guess once we see an extended sample size, because there could be a lot of NIL deals that are going out there right now, but is Georgia awesome because they just have the best NIL deal? Well, they got the 5 stars, and now you're rolling NIL into it. We've heard so much since this started about Miami being at the forefront.
And what have they won?
All of a sudden a powerhouse because of NIL.
I don't think they've won a conference championship, let alone anything bigger. So, I agree. Terry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Terry.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for letting me crash your 15-year celebration on Friday. Burritos, cake, awesome. And then get to meeting people that are here all the time. DC, great guy. Meeting Steph in person. Micah, Hoser. And I gave him the chuckle about how I fell off my chair when he finally realized Baloo was a dog. So that. And then, Howard and Edward, and of course Grady, awesome. Glad to hear Grady's son is running track in college, going to be a Mustang down south. Wish him the best as he takes on that. But I was jumping in a little bit on Hank Gathers because it was, the spring of 1990, and they were in their conference tournament.
Yep.
And ESPN kept showing it over and over of him going down, and I thought that was kind of crude and all that. But, you know, as it went along, they went ahead and gave Loyola Marymount the tournament bid. And Bo Kimball, for the first 2 games, he would shoot his first free throw left-handed in honor of Gathers. And Paulette Westhead was the coach, and he left Kimball in one of the games with 4 fouls in the first half. I think they're playing Bama or something like that. And one of the other players said, "Your coach is nuts." And Kimball said, "Yes, he is." They made it to the Elite 8, where they finally lost to UNLV. But once you hear something, whether it's a Michael or LeBron, you hear a story like this, from me, I just turn it in as a father, and you just wish the kid the best. He's able to play again, great. You know, technology has come a long way, but you want to have him have a good long life, whether it's on the court or not. So we have that, but you know, it's just something that goes on, and you always worry about it, because even 12 years ago, not all college games were on TV, and we'd listen to the radio and hear player down when my son was playing, and you always don't want anybody down, but you just want everybody to be able to get up, no matter what it is. But from that standpoint, we plug along, and like I said, thank you guys. Friday was awesome.
Good day.
Really great time, and you know, I think JJ had a little more life to him this time. He's tossing in a little humor, you know, letting Mario down south say, "Why does he let, you know, Jeff still get all these interviews and pick on his coaches?" But you know, I'm glad to say you can be lighthearted and still have a good time, and you guys do a great job.
Thank you, Terry.
So,
no, it was great to see you.
Day.
Thanks for coming out. Yeah, it was good to see that whole group out there.
Fun.
Yeah,
it was a great day.
It was good to see that whole group out there. All right. I'm watching the trade deadline. Have you seen anything this morning?
Too early, Jeff. It's baseball.
It's too early. It's baseball. They're not up yet?
No.
All right. Still nobody awake yet?
We'll wait till about 30 minutes before the deadline.
All right. I got one more when we come back. NFL stuff. I told you the biggest wild card in the NFL to me this year, easy, Deshaun Watson, right? Sneaky good difference maker at wide receiver. A veteran on a new team who I think is going to be on a scorched earth tour and is going to make a huge difference for a young quarterback. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 630 Sports Animal.
This is Andrew Bogish with a CBS Sports Minute.
Good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca.
Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts The Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's
Hey, we gave stuff away on Friday too. Registered winners for the golf bag, and we got a winner. Grady won the golf bag. It's good. It's making its way up to Pecos for the Pecos Country Club. They're going to play up there. It's a big deal. Congratulations, Grady, and thank you for coming out. All right, so I love this time of year because everybody's good. Everybody worked hard. Everybody's got a great coaching staff. Everybody trained hard. Everybody's relatively healthy in football. But I love looking like a layer or two deeper, as do most of you, and so I'm looking around, and we all relatively have the same picks in divisions, right? Are we all on Buffalo? You picking
I'm
someone
on
else?
Buffalo.
All right. Are we all on Cincinnati? Who else
No.
you got in the AFC? Who you got in the AFC North?
Ravens.
Okay. Are we all on Jacksonville?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we all on Kansas City?
Yes.
Are we all on San Francisco?
Yes.
Are we all on New Orleans?
That's a tough one.
Okay. I think we might be splitting the NFC North. I'm on Detroit. I don't know where you guys are.
Chicago.
Okay. You think Justin Fields is going to be a lot better than I think he's going to be.
I do. He really impressed me last year.
All right.
Yeah, to me, it's Detroit or Minnesota.
All right. And then we're all on the Eagles, right? All right. Jaguars are interesting to me. And I think they're going to take a step. I think Trevor Lawrence basically had his rookie year last year because his rookie year was wasted with Urban Meyer. And they made a move last year to get Calvin Ridley away from Atlanta. Remember, Calvin Ridley was suspended for a year, the wide receiver, for gambling. And I think he's going on a scorched earth tour. I thought he was really good then, and I think he's going to have something to prove. And I'm listening to people tell me he's the most impressive player on the field during camp. This is Christian Kirk, the high-paid, supposed number one receiver for Trevor Lawrence at Jacksonville. Quote, his intensity, how he approached every day, the extra effort and time that he puts into his craft to take care of his body. Everyone's seen it, the way he approaches practice and the way he competes. So it just brings up the level of competition in our room and our standard. Dude, he was a good quarterback before. A good wide receiver before this. Like he was, I mean, you could made an argument at the time he was top 10 in the league. He's forgotten, right? As Jim Irsay said, if I go away, if I die, or that guy's not here, nobody's gonna miss us. Nobody misses you, right? The league goes on, you get into it, you forget about guys. I think he's a difference maker. You agree?
Absolutely. Now, Christian Kirk, who was good last year, I know everyone got a little crazy when they gave him $85 million.
That was beyond bonkers.
And oh my goodness, what the Jaguars doing Jaguar things. Well, they had a plan. And they pay up a little bit for Christian Kirk. Sure, they did. But now he is a very good number 2 wide receiver with Calvin Ridley. You look at what Trevor Lawrence in that offense, Doug Peterson, they got the talent out of Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm. And then they went and re-signed him. Yep.
They have Travis Etienne, another first-round pick that came in with Trevor Lawrence, the Clemson connection. And so everyone just gets that much better on offense with Calvin Ridley in there. And Trevor Lawrence, you see okay, this is why this guy was hyped up. This is the dude that was playing at the biggest stage in college football, and he showed you could do it in the NFL. Yeah, there's for every comeback, there's a collapse. But what they did, being down at halftime, was it 27-0?
Against the Chargers?
Against the Chargers.
Yep.
And to complete those passes, to make those drives in the second half was huge.
The throws he made.
And that is why, even in just 1 year, Jacksonville, it would be a huge disappointment if they lost out to Tennessee, or let alone a rookie quarterback in that division, because they're stacked with talent, and they still have top picks on the defensive side that can get better.
So, yes. And the Trevor Lawrence, you got to remember, he was the can't miss kid. He was the latest can't miss this side of Andrew Luck. And he has a disappointing year one. You're like, well, I guess you can miss. Well, he had a disappointing year one because, I don't know, was Nathaniel Hackett the worst coaching job ever? Was Urban Meyer the worst coaching job ever?
Put it on the poll.
I mean, honestly, we've seen two of the worst coaching jobs ever. We're running that promo with
Urban Meyer,
Colin Cowherd saying we all saw it. Well, for crying out loud, I mean, did we all watch what happened the year before?
Urban was just like, all right, guys, you go home. I'm going to stay at my bar and figure this out.
Well, I think the reason you could argue Nathaniel Hackett is because there was way more expected of the Broncos last year than there was of the Jaguars 2 years ago. Right? You brought in Russell Wilson. They were quarterback away, and they were garbage. Yeah, Jacksonville was garbage the year before, but they were so bad they had the first overall pick. That's what they were coming off of. But, man, you could make an argument it was one of the worst ever. So, his first year was wasted. Last year, his touchdown-interception ratio was 25-8. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He threw for over 4,100 yards. He had a 95.2 rating and a 66% completion rate. He got him to the playoffs. He won a playoff game. And if I recall, they were competitive against the Chiefs in the second round, weren't they? Everything tells you this guy should take the step where when we're sitting here 365 days from now, we should be having the conversation that he might be a top 5 quarterback. You might say Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and Herbert and him, or Lamar and him. And now you give him this weapon. I think Ridley's going to be tremendous.
And the schedule for Jacksonville, they should eat up that division. Take advantage of it because divisions fluctuate. Sometimes you're going to be playing in the hardest division, and sometimes, it's going to be there for the taking. And that's where it is for Jacksonville right now. But he's going to have his moments. Week 2, hosting Kansas City. Then they host Kansas City. They're playing a overseas game against Buffalo. They'll see San Francisco. They'll see Cincinnati.
They ball
Cleveland,
early, man. They got
Baltimore. Like, they'll get the test.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
They'll feast on the division and then go head to head with the top teams in the AFC.
You know, I had Trevor Lawrence 12th simply because of where he was last year. But if you asked me where I would pick quarterbacks, if I'm putting together a team right now, like who do I want for the next 5 years? He's top 7 or 8 right now. I've got him ahead of Cousins and Tua and Deshaun Watson and Goff and Carr and Geno and Stafford.
Next 5 years, he's top 5 easy.
Right?
Because you're going
Next
no
5 years,
brainers. It's Mahomes, Burrow,
Allen,
no.
Hurts, Herbert, him. I mean, those are your guys, right? I mean, I love what Jacksonville can do. And to your point, what a coach can mean, what a difference. You bring in Doug Peterson who won a Super Bowl, who's an actual NFL coach, as opposed to the gong show that was what Urban Meyer was. I don't know. Put it on the poll. Worst coaching job ever? I mean, your boy Nate Hackett was really crummy last year. Urban Meyer the year before, the only reason you can make the argument for Hackett being worse was because there were higher expectations for the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, yes is the answer, isn't it? Who was worse? Yep. Yeah, it was bad. Both of them.
You know, I'm thinking about this a little bit. I'd actually probably take Lawrence over Allen if I'm moving forward, talking about next 5 years.
I can entertain that. Tell me why.
Just seeing how he sees the field the second half of that playoff game, I saw a guy who knew what he was doing. He's a young guy, but he's got all the throws. He can move when he needs to. And you could say the same thing about Allen.
Allen moves better.
He does because he has to.
And because he can.
Perhaps, yes. I don't know. I think Allen, unfortunately, is looking at a closing window. I think.
Really?
I do.
Why? You don't think he can improve? Like, I'm gonna give you another argument on Allen. And I'll entertain that Lawrence might be better over the next 5 years. The strides that Josh Allen has made in the last 3 years, I don't believe he's reached his ceiling. Because I think he's still got that gun. He's gotten better as a passer. He's become better as a quarterback. He reads defenses better. He's fitting the ball in better windows. And why am I to believe that he is topped out? Why can't he continue to get better? Obviously, he's coachable. Obviously, he's smart enough to get better. They've worked with him, and he's still young. I don't believe he's topped out. Although, I mean, I can see why you might. I just don't believe that.
I just feel like he's had such good opportunities that and I'm not saying he's bad by any means. I just think in the situation he's in right now, they've already changed coaches, offensive coordinators. They've made some moves to try and make him better. And
would you feel different if Patrick Mahomes didn't drive in 13 seconds down the field and they got to the Super Bowl?
If they go to the Super Bowl, maybe the conversation
was
is
it 2 years ago?
Wait,
was it the AFC Championship? It was the AFC Championship game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They would have played the.
This is one with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It's the offseason of Stephon Diggs being upset.
Yeah.
Losing at home. Like, don't forget this dude, the last 3 years, 13-3, 11-6, 13-3.
Yeah. No, I still think there's a lot of upside on him. And again, the narrative I think would be so different. He won that game, dude. He did everything he can to beat Pat Mahomes, except for he left 13 freaking seconds on the clock. They could have been in the Super Bowl instead of Joe Burrow. Thanks to Hal Mummy and Eric Brooks for being with us today. Adrian, great work. DC, always great job. Appreciate you. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On come your way at 4. And then it's the Isotopes against Las Vegas tonight. Homestand continues. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning, starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction
get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.